including at least once in the last 2 days, if not twice. I voiced my opinion about staying where somebody asks me to without checking in with the owners first. What I was told by the lady at the place for change was incorrect. However, I don't believe that she gave me the wrong information intentionally. There's a possibility that that information might have been correct at one point in time. There's also a possibility that that's okay for like a night or two max, but they don't want you moving in kind of thing. Ooh, a pop-up tent for $20. That's pretty nice. It also says 75% off right on top of that, discount taken at register. Does that mean these tents are $5? I'll have to go in and ask. Hello. Anyway, I do want to talk about the really super nice lady there that was at the Blue Heron. She came out and she knocked on the window, of course. She let me sleep in until like 8:30. So, I mean, she was super nice because I'd have knocked on somebody's goddamn window at 6:30 going, hey, my name is Sean. What's yours? All right, now that we're on a first name basis, well, how you doing? I definitely want to find at that point what they're doing there, but instead of saying, what are you doing here, in a harsh tone, well, you just treat them with a little bit of kindness. They're going to end up telling what's up anyway. And if they're going to lie to you about it, they're going to lie to you about it either way. You're more likely to get the truth if you're kind to them. So, that lady not only was super kind this morning, hello, but she also let us know that it was a situation with getting a ticket for helping people or allowing them to stay there overnight. But that's what they're worried about. Now, I do believe that the city council would make laws like that. I do, because I've been in places where there are laws like that. And today I'm going to be looking up the laws on that. But that needs to be my priority second, because first we need to make sure that Tom gets hooked up with what he needs to get hooked up with. The sooner we're able to get him somewhere safe and get his stuff somewhere safe, the sooner he'll be able to go where he needs to freely to take care of the stuff that he needs to, instead of babysitting his own shit. That's one of the things about having somebody to work together with, and he voiced that last night several times about how, you know, he was trying to help that young lady out, but it has to be a thing where it works out for both of them. And when it wasn't that way, he left. Oh, wow. Somebody threw away a bunch of snipes. I just won the lottery. I hope they don't mind me taking these. I'm not going to go feeding them to 12-year-olds.
I don't care.
Very cool.
I chew on the end of my cigarettes. You won't want that one.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Not that one. It's solid wet. See, isn't that nice? Just a little bit of information there. I know a few people that chew on the end of their cigarette, and yeah, it's kind of nasty when you touch that and go, ew. Somehow it's not as nasty when it's dry. Now, obviously, I'm running around and doing my snipe run while I'm trying to tell you about the nice lady from the Blue Heron. And I really feel as if I'm doing a horrible job doing it, because, all right, first of all, people's tone is usually a dead fucking giveaway to their intent. So pay attention to people's tone of voice. It's important. I'm going to smoke this here menthol because I know it's going to give me a potent kick. I hate menthol. Oh my God, it's an Oregon slug. You got to see this thing. These things are so cool. Now this one's only about 5 inches long. You can see, hopefully, that little ant there going up on him. But in Washington State, and it is no joke, I've seen slugs that are 8 to 10 inches long. I've seen slugs that are as big around as a 5-year-old's wrist. I mean, it's pretty big. Now, you guys think that one the size of an infant's wrist is big in a lot of places. I mean, Nebraska, if you see a slug, it's 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch at most. I've seen maybe 3/4 of an inch long slugs there. Maybe. But we're not talking about slugs. The blue heron, obviously those are folks that do try to be nice to folks. They just don't want to get in trouble for it. They are a business. They can't have their business looking all nastified. Especially with an ugly ass car like mine that's got as much crap on top of it as mine. Which is why it's a good thing that Tom's needing a ride to storage this morning so that he can try to get himself a storage facility. I'm totally down with that. And the thought did cross my mind to try to impose myself and my stuff into his storage unit, but that's just fucked up. That would get him tied in and stuck with me, and me tied in and stuck with him. And you know, I'd like for him to be able to part ways whenever he wants to, for whatever reason. When you're in a situation like this, though, if it was where he and I were sharing the storage space, especially if he's paying for all of it, which would literally be how it is, you know, that does feel like a freeloading thing. Oh, damn, somebody fucked their car up. It's got a chunk of plastic sticking out of it. When that lady knocked on the window, she was very kind and very sweet about what she was saying. She didn't say it as if we had done anything wrong. She didn't say it in a rough tone of voice or a mean tone of voice. She was very kind. Not only that, you know, I did start packing up my stuff immediately to leave immediately. But she didn't give me the sense that we needed to. This wasn't a thing like she's saying, oh, well, you need to get off the property right this moment. We're calling the cops. And if you ever come back, we're going to this, and this. No, she was informing us. It was a letting us know thing. It was also, with her, letting us know the impact for her and for that place. That is important. I just wish it was reciprocated, and that's not to say it wasn't reciprocated by her. It's not reciprocated by the United States toward the homeless. We have been in way more fucked up situations than you in most cases. So keep that in mind. You guys tell us how it is based on wives' tales, and we tell you how it is based on personal experience. That lady there at the Blue Heron, if I'd well, she was at work, but if I'd tried to tell her a little bit about my situation, you know what? She very much came across as somebody who might even listen. Now, there's a lot of people who are only kind because they're at work. And that comes out in their tone. Even if they're trying to talk sweet, it just somehow comes out sour. And that's because our emotions do affect our vocal tones. You can have a male with a falsetto voice, but a falsetto voice does not sound the same as a female voice in the same key, does it? Sometimes it does, usually. When somebody's lying to you, their voice changes a bit too. The problem is most of you are so used to lying yourselves, and you should be used to lying enough by now because you do it so much that you can actually understand and feel the emotions of other people. That's based on paying attention to the things they say, how they say it, and of course, in person, you get to see their physical body. Some of you, you get all antsy in your pantsy when somebody starts pacing. Most people pace because they're afraid to speak. They're afraid to speak because you fucking snap at them no matter what they say. But you expect them to listen to everything that you have to say. You expect them to listen to your entire goddamn life story. When you tell somebody that you'll help them, all right, you can't help them if you're not willing to find out what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, you're not going to make the right decisions. When you're going to help somebody and you spend all your time going out of your way to communicate in a way that you and them have already agreed is ineffective, well, that's not help. Then when you are able to speak, you're constantly telling that person about yourself. That's not help. And then when you spend all that time talking about yourself, you're also pushing your advice. You don't know what's going on in their life. You need to stop pushing advice. You need to listen. And you guys have all been taught to do the I'm sorry thing and push advice and not listen. Listening is number one. Listening is key. That lady did not try to push us or rush us like we had to get out there right that moment. Because she was kind, well, it's extremely likely that I'm not going to park there anymore. If she had been mean, it would also be extremely likely that I'm not going to park there anymore. But you know what the difference is? I speak up about all these places. Good places and good people. I'll say it was good places and good people. If somebody does something good for me, I'll say what it is that they did good for me and who it is. There's a lot of people that were going to come forward, but they wanted their names kept secret. I kept their names secret for as long as they could, but they never came forward. I told you there was a time limit. If you don't keep your end of the bargain, I'm under no obligation to keep mine. And there are situations where people outright broke the deal over and over again. Now there are people that, because they were telling me it was family, yeah, I understood. But the fact is, when there's always some excuse why you can't tell the fucking truth, no, you can make the fucking time. You can make the time. I understand you're exhausted and you're overwhelmed, but if you can take the time to tell me about all of your personal fucking problems for hours and hours and hours in texting, then yeah, you do have the fucking time. If you can do it, but you can't do it with me, even knowing I have an open schedule, yeah, if you tell me you're going to call this place at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I can be on the phone with you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Not only that, but I will record it so that if they try saying it's your fault, it's recorded whose fucking fault it is. If something goes, of course, south. Now, with the things that the cops were insinuating, Well, I get the feeling that they possibly may have intimidated the people at the Blue Heron for helping people before. The Blue Heron might actually think that there's a law like that in place. But the actions of the police and the things that they said and the inferences that they made show that they're probably ain't. Which would actually amaze me here. So I am going to look it up. I get that y'all don't want some heroin junkie coming and living in your parking lot for 6 years. I get that. I do. What I don't get is victimizing everybody else out here over it. If there's a heroin junkie in your parking lot, yeah, they don't they don't have the ability to stay there for 6 years unless you let them. See, the way that the police inferred it is that nobody here, anywhere, is going to let you. Like Fred Meyer isn't going to let you, or any of these other places aren't going to let you. First time I ever saw a sign, well, second time I ever saw a sign at a Walmart saying there's no overnight camping was here in Oregon. The great thing about Walmart for a good long while there is that if you're broke and you have to travel somewhere and you don't have the ability to spend $600 on a special field trip, you gotta park somewhere. If you're living on disability and they're requiring you to drive all the way to Cheyenne or all the way to Scotts Bluff, or in this scenario it would be, driving all the way to Portland or Eugene. I'm kind of in between the two. It's a lot of driving. There's wear and tear. The tires on my car should not still be on my car. They're not safe to have there. I can't afford new tires. That's a safety issue. Any money that I can try to save, but that's the thing, I don't get to save anything, because when you try to tell on bad guys, well, they do a lot of bad shit, and a lot of those bad guys have badges, and they can press charges against you for things that didn't happen, to prevent you from turning them in, to gain access to the evidence that you have against them illegally. I travel to places so I can show people in person, because that's the way that I have to do it. I don't have the ability to do this all over the internet. All right? If I travel to 4,000 places and I don't have internet at any of those places or assistance with this, yeah, I can't do it over the fucking internet. All of these law enforcement agencies, every fucking one of them knew that. Every one of these agencies that I was sent to and told, hey, this place is going to help you and that place is supposed to help you, they all did the same thing. Every one of them to this day passing the buck. This is an emergency situation. There is evidence in my vehicle of a lot of different abuse, and of course I do tell officers that. Them cops in Rawlins, Wyoming knew that there was evidence in my vehicle of abuse against children. They'd also told me that they weren't going to arrest me, but that was an outright lie. They broke a lot of laws. And that's the problem with law enforcement, is just because it's illegal for them to do shit across jurisdictions doesn't mean they won't. They did everything that they could to prevent the evidence of the interaction between them and I from being shown in court. I literally had to plead guilty to a crime I did not commit in order to get that evidence back. Anyway, we're gonna go to storage now. Hopefully get his stuff put into storage. And no, I don't want to put my stuff in there with his because, well, I don't want him being stuck with it. I need to have a safe environment for me and my evidence. Having to jump around like this is hell. That lady this morning wasn't rude or inconsiderate in the least bit. For the cops to infer that it's people like her's decision. It's not. If these people are fined for helping others, then we've got a lot bigger problems. Don't tell me about your Jesus if you're looking the other way to that. That's very un-Jesus-like. Anyway, you know how we end these videos. Good to be radio. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.
What's that?
Oh, I was making a YouTube